has admitted feeling intimidated at the prospect of competing alongside Max Verstappen in the Red Bull seat for 2025. Meanwhile, Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur has outright rejected the legitimacy of Max Verstappen's 2024 title. Mercedes has stated they are not at all surprised by Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari, revealing it was his plan all along. Let's discuss and stay tuned until the end. Liam Lawson, set to join Red Bull Racing in 2025, has candidly admitted to feeling trepidation as he prepares to take on the challenge of being Max Verstappen's teammate. Verstappen, widely regarded as one of the most formidable drivers on the grid, has earned a reputation over recent years as a teammate destroyer. The Dutchman's dominance has seen several teammates, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, and most recently Sergio Perez, struggle to match his pace and eventually leave the team. Lawson, who impressed during his 11-race stint as a stand-in driver with AlphaTauri and served as Red Bull's reserve driver for the past 3 seasons, will now take the leap to partner Verstappen following Perez's departure. While this is a significant career milestone, Lawson does not shy away from acknowledging the immense pressure that comes with the role. In a recent interview, Lawson was asked why Verstappen's teammates often find themselves faltering under the pressure. Reflecting on his experience with the team, he explained, "I've driven the car over the last couple of years and done tests, and I can say the car is very aggressive. It takes a lot of confidence to drive it, honestly. And I think that's where Max is obviously extremely confident as a driver." Lawson continued, praising Verstappen's extraordinary talent. "The main thing is that he's the best in the world right now. So to go up against the best guy is always going to be very, very tough. Ultimately, that's probably the main reason anybody has struggled so far to go up against him." The Dutchman's ability to consistently extract performance from the car, even under challenging circumstances, has often been attributed to his unique driving style. In 2024, Sergio Perez remarked that Verstappen's style allowed him to adapt more effectively during Red Bull's mid-season struggles, where others faltered. However, Lawson takes a different perspective on the so-called driving style debate. Speaking to media, he said, "In terms of driving styles, I don't really know if I believe in it so much. I think you have certain things you like a car to do, but as drivers, we're professionals. We have to adapt to whatever we're driving." Lawson's confidence stems from his extensive involvement in Red Bull's development program. "I spent a lot of time developing that car as a junior and as a reserve for the last couple of years, and I feel like I understand quite well the way the car drives." Despite his confidence, Lawson remains realistic about the challenges ahead. Verstappen has consistently set an almost unreachable benchmark, and the New Zealander knows he must bring his absolute best to avoid becoming another casualty of the Verstappen effect. Meanwhile, Lawson's promotion to Red Bull has created opportunities for other rising stars. Formula 2 runner-up Issa Qajar has earned a seat alongside Yuki Tsunoda at AlphaTauri, now rebranded as Racing Bulls. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen's claim that he could have clinched the 2024 Formula 1 World Championship in a rival car has sparked a heated response from Ferrari, with team principal Fred Vasseur outright rejecting the suggestion. The 2024 season was Verstappen's 4th consecutive title, but it proved to be his most challenging campaign yet. Red Bull's dominance faced fierce competition from McLaren, Ferrari, and Mercedes, with each team introducing significant upgrades that closed the gap to the Milton Keynes squad. Yet, Verstappen's assertion that he could have won the championship even earlier in a McLaren or Ferrari has left rival teams unconvinced. Early in the season, Red Bull appeared poised for another dominant year. However, by the Miami Grand Prix, McLaren had unleashed a game-changing upgrade package. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri suddenly became regular contenders at the front, stealing victories and podiums from Red Bull. Ferrari and Mercedes soon followed suit, delivering updates that elevated their performance and turned the championship into a genuine contest. Meanwhile, Red Bull's development seemed to stall. The once untouchable RB20 became vulnerable, and Verstappen found himself battling harder than ever to retain his position at the top. Despite the adversity, Verstappen secured the title with 2 races to spare in Las Vegas, but his path to glory was anything but smooth. Speaking to the media, Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur dismissed Verstappen's bold claim, pointing out the intricate relationship between a driver's performance and their car. "It makes no sense to think or say that in another team Verstappen would have won the same. It is not possible to separate the performance of a driver from that of his car. There are too many elements involved. Vassar elaborated on his argument by imagining a scenario where Verstappen had driven for McLaren instead of Red Bull. The quality of McLaren's performance also depends on the feedback and work done with its current drivers. Saying Verstappen would have won in a McLaren ignores the fundamental role that Norris and Piastri have played in shaping that car to suit their driving styles. Vassar also highlighted the unique challenges Red Bull faced in 2024 compared to previous years. In 2022 and 2023, the Red Bull was much better. When you have a 6/10 advantage, you can afford mistakes and nobody notices. But this year, even a small error could drop the team to 6th place. Despite his criticism of Verstappen's claim, Vassar acknowledged the Dutch driver's extraordinary talent and adaptability. What impressed me about Verstappen this year was his ability to extract the best even when they struggled. This is a lesson for us. In such a competitive context, there are races where we're not the strongest, but it's necessary to maximize the result. To win, you need to make a difference when you're not in the right place, and that's where he has excelled. Meanwhile, the shockwaves of Lewis Hamilton's decision to leave Mercedes for Ferrari at the end of the 2024 Formula One season continue to reverberate through the paddock. However, for those closest to the 7-time world champion, the move was less of a surprise than it may have seemed. According to former Mercedes race team coordinator Mark Lord, who has worked alongside Hamilton for over a decade, the switch to Ferrari had been in Hamilton's mind for years. Hamilton's move to Ferrari marks the end of a 12-season stint with Mercedes, a partnership that delivered 6 World Drivers' Championships and redefined the modern era of Formula One. For Lord, who joined Mercedes alongside Hamilton in 2013 after their shared time at McLaren, the impending move was always within the realm of possibility. Speaking on the podcast, Lord revealed that Hamilton had long harbored a desire to drive for the Scuderia. I wasn't surprised at all. A few years ago, it came up in conversation. He always said that he felt most drivers had a desire, at some point in their career, to drive the Ferrari. So I wasn't surprised at all. For many drivers, Ferrari's allure lies in its rich history and the prestige of racing for Formula One's most iconic team. Hamilton, who has often spoken of his appreciation for the sport's history, appears to have been drawn by the same dream. We can see through the history of the sport, there's a desire amongst great drivers to go to Ferrari and win world championships there. Fernando Alonso did it. Sebastian Vettel did it. I think that will always remain. They're the oldest, most recognizable team in the pit lane. The history and the esteem that Mark is held in, it's inevitable that people would want to go there. While speculation had linked Hamilton with other teams over the years, most notably a potential return to McLaren, Lord dismissed those rumors as a miscalculation. I actually always thought he might be tempted back to McLaren, but I was completely wrong. This move to Ferrari, it's been part of the plan for a long time. Hamilton's multi-year deal with Ferrari will see him join the team in 2025, embarking on what could be the final chapter of his illustrious career. The decision comes at a pivotal time for the Briton, who remains fiercely competitive and eager to add to his record equaling 7 world championships. For Mercedes, Hamilton's departure signals the end of an era. Lord, who recently completed a farewell tour of Mercedes' key facilities in Kuala Lumpur, Stuttgart, Brackley, and Brixworth, described the mood within the team as